The South African Emergency Personnel's Union has written to the Provincial Health Department requesting a meeting to find solutions to the challenges experienced by emergency workers in Gqeberha. To discuss, I'm joined now by the union's president, Mpogeng. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika, Mpho.
Thank you for having me.
All right, just give us an update on this matter, please, if you would.
Yeah, basically, let me firstly indicate that it's not for the first time and this kind of incidences happen. And in the very same province, we're having 6 incidences that happened starting from January till to date, which means it's a very serious issue that needs to be attended to. That is why we requested another meeting with the MEC, because the previous ones the MEC didn't honor. Even now, the meeting that we have requested after all these incidences, they haven't acknowledged the receipt of the letter and so forth. So we're not even sure as to whether the meeting will materialize, because we haven't received any indication from them. We're very much worried as a trade union, because if you can check, these attacks are happening, and we're not actually blaming the MECs or the political heads and so forth. We are saying, let's come down and sit and see how best can we come up with possible solutions. Because for now, the possible solution that we have actually shared with other provinces that it seems to be working as we speak is the issue of cameras. Remember, ambulances are attacked and no one is arrested. Obviously, those guys, they know very well that they can repeat that more often and no one is going to be arrested. So in the provinces that we have actually requested them to procure the service of cameras, we have seen in Gauteng, we spoke to them, they've procured that particular service of cameras, dashboard cameras and tracking devices. We have seen the very same attacks dropping. So in Eastern Cape, it is unfortunate because we requested so many meetings with them. Unfortunately, they haven't come to the party even now as we speak. So it is very, very worrying, because it seems as if what they will be doing, they rely on the police. We know, and I'm glad because your reporter indicated very clear that the resources of the police is not enough as we speak. That's why it is quite difficult for the very same perpetrators to be arrested. So it is a very, very burning issue. And again, we are saying to the MEC, we need campaigns as well, so that the community members can come to the party and assist. So it will be a joint operation between ourselves as the trade union, the Department of Health, including the community, because those very same perpetrators belong to the very same community. They know them, the community members, but they don't have the guts to come out and say, we know so and so, he must be arrested and so forth. So it is quite difficult, because one other thing that is very, very worrying that I must not even forget about it is the issue of ambulances. I think it is totally wrong to say ambulances were stolen in this process of attacking. They just take them for 1 kilometer and they drop them. So if those ambulances were stolen, obviously the department should have done something as we speak, because the only thing that is happening, those perpetrators...
Just for clarity, which department? You say the department should have done something as we speak if those ambulances were stolen. Which department?
Department of Health.
Okay.
The Department of Health, yes.
Okay.
That's why we're saying...
Go ahead.
If the very same cars or the ambulances were stolen, definitely one will be speaking a different language today, because I know they should have actually done something about this matter. The only thing that they are having is a template of condemnation. That is not even enough. Because what we'll hear from them as soon as there is another attack is a condemnation. You are condemning the situation and whatnot, but you are saying you are in the position to procure whatever that is required to minimize those kind of attacks.
All right. I hear you say that you're not blaming the government, but at the same time you say that, it's the Department of Health that needs to intervene if an ambulance was attacked, but then they would say, but that is the responsibility of the Department of Police. Now, holistically, you've also spoken about cameras and tracking devices. Holistically, in a nutshell, how do we come together as civil society, as the government, as well as the private sector, to ensure the safety of our emergency personnel, as well as the safety of citizens and ultimately those who are in desperate need of these services?
Yes, you see, sometimes the first thing that needs to happen is for us to meet with the department. If the department is not coming to the party, we can meet the committee members. It's not a problem because we're from the very same committee. But if the department is not coming to the party, they don't actually take this matter serious. So obviously, you cannot decide on their behalf because they're the only people who will take the meaningful decisions in this process. Because, for instance, if you can organize a meeting with the very same community as Zakhele. Obviously, committee members, they will come, but if we can say ambulances must operate like this and like that, so the person who's supposed to take that kind of initiative or the decision, the final person who's supposed to take that decision is Department of Health. So it is important for them to come to the party because this thing is actually affecting us all. Because if you can remember, in the past, our members were very much tired and they end up saying, no, we are not going to, we will embark the areas that are hotspots and we are not going to attend to those areas if an emergency or a need arises. And it was very difficult for us as the trade union to support them in that particular position because obviously we know that there is our ambulances that are badly affected by these attacks are from are actually assisting these destitute communities, those people who cannot afford a private service. So if you are saying we are stopping that particular service from the very same granny or a very pregnant woman who's supposed to give birth tomorrow, so you're disadvantaging them. So it is quite difficult for us to actually support such kind of positions from our members. And at the same time, we are losing members because some of them are women. The recent incident that happened, one of the ladies or a crew member was a female, and she was beaten. It is quite difficult for us to work in that kind of a situation.
All right, Mpho. Now, should the Department of Health not come to the party, what is your next move as the South African Emergency Personnel's Union?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Probably we'll be left with no option and to say we'll earmark the areas where we cannot take an ambulance to. So it will be a very difficult situation because obviously you remember that if we take such kind of decisions, the very same employees, more or less the same like during the time of COVID, where our managers were sitting at home having their laptops and stuff, and they were pushing our members to go and attend to COVID patients. So even now, they are still doing the same thing to say, go to the very same areas where they know very well that ambulance won't come back safe. So we'll be actually compelled to take such kind of decisions to say, no, ambulance won't go to Zakhele during that particular time. If one suspects that this call is not genuine, obviously we might not even actually go and attend to that particular call because it is quite difficult for now to differentiate as to whether this one is the correct one, this one is not the correct one.
Right, Mpho, thank you so much for your time, and I do wish that this matter is resolved swiftly for everyone's sake. That was the president of the South African Emergency Personnel's Union, Mpogeng.